Okay. I do believe we exist. We do exist. We exist. We exist. Hooray. Okay. Cool. We do exist. Excellent. Let's see now. We are going to do some physics. And we're going to. Oh, I wonder if that issue with the dependencies on Avian is fixed now. Yeah, mine. First things first. First things foremost. Foremost things first. Let's let's go to Discord. We're going to run some ads while there's nobody here, and we're going to do some Discord. Twitch TV PC. There we go. Confirm. And we put one here. And we find the streams channel. There it is. Do some Discording. Okay, get rid of that. Oh, we're getting close. All right. Now then, what about some? What about some? What about some blue sky? Oh, it's very bright. Yeah, that's better. Man, that was slow. Some blue sky. There's my beanie. There's my beanie. Oh, look at this wire pattern. Huh. Never noticed that. Okay. Physics. You can disobey the laws thereof. It's ads time. Let's get some Avian working. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait, why do I have a notification? Somebody followed me. I'm pretty sure I follow all of these people, or at least some of them. Oh, yeah, there we go. Fantastic. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. Now, we'll get a cup of tea next our break. In the meantime, do we actually still have cargo? Oh, and also, do I have any to-dos? Aha. We did that already. Okay. We got CI, we got mechanics. Now, Destructible tile set is going to be a really interesting one. Yups can launch upward. Maybe a slingshot, maybe a squish, then spring. We got parachute downward, dig downward, maybe by bouncing, dig horizontally, maybe by spinning, be a blocker. Blockers can stop being a blocker. Form a bridge with other yups. That's going to be a tricky one. Each component of the bridge is lost to the final count. Okay. Yups must exit at the portal, collect flaggles. Flaggle score times number of yups is final score. Okay. I wrote all this before Christmas. Players can pause and unpause, increase and decrease, destroy all yups and start over. Different modes of destruction. Turn into bombs with fuses. Wow. Okay. All right, cool. All to come. Do we have Avian? We do have Avian. We do have Avian. Branch main. Is the project currently building? Is my next question. Apparently so. Start button. Game screen. Pause screen. Game screen. Pause screen. Exit. Start button. Pause screen. Exit. Okay, good. So that's where we're at. It's very, very complex and detailed. No, it's not. No, it's definitely not. All right. So Avian. Now, I haven't used Avian 2D in a very long time. And they just released a new version. Actually, I should check that. Did I get the new version? I got main branch. Okay, cool. We're on the cutting edge, man. We're on the cutting edge. Real quick off screen, just check to see if I have any GitHub issues that relate to any of this or if it's all work stuff. Bevy CLI, Bevy CLI, Bevy CLI. 15660. Just improve specific examples instead of having a generic code. Oh, yeah. Actually, this can happen on. Hang on, let me just close the issues that relate to work in case there are any. There aren't any. Okay. Let's go to this screen. Okay. We got. Oh, actually, hang on. Let's go back to the screen. Let's detach that tab. And let's go back to this screen. There we go. That's more like it. Just do a real quick check of all the Bevy issues that I'm either involved in or subscribed to. We don't really need the Bevy CLI ones right now. And the comment here was, this doesn't really have a defined scope. We should just improve specific examples instead of a generic code style enhancement as an issue. Oh, yeah. Close, no problem. Cool. That's fine with me. The fewer issues, the better. Well, fewer invalid issues, the better. Prefer iterator over vec push. Add yes argument to confirm. Okay. Let's get rid of all these for now. BBCLI's got a lot of stuff happening. Done. Add updated WSL2 instructions. Closed. Oh, yeah. This is a while ago. Oh, my goodness. I think you are very lost. Closing as part of backlog cleanup. Oh, right. That was why I closed it. And then we got some sort of random copy pasta of an error. I see. Okay. That's fine. Don't care about that. Compiles too many targets. And Bevy 15 bumped up here. Oh, right. Bevy real time. Ah, yeah. Why did I think Postgres was there? It wasn't building without it. Actually, let's just check that real quick. Sorry, this is a huge sidetrack. Bevy real time. Why wasn't it building? What are we using Postgres for? Oh, because of the tests. Because it's used in the tests. Ergo, it's a dev dependency, I guess. Yeah. Cool, that's done. Bevy real-time updated. Bevy CLI, Bevy CLI, Bevy go true. Yay. Done. Done like a dinner. Done, done, done. And dun, dun, dun. And then CI workflows failing. We don't care. Done. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Cool. So let's go back to all the way home. Beautiful. Now, there are no other issues with that. So I guess Avian is building. There was a problem with a sub crate. at some point, but I think they've probably fixed it now. It was what was it called? I have to look at Discord. I have to look at Discord. We moved the Discord window to here. There's my hat. So easy to buy presents for. Avian physics. There's a massive update to Avian physics recently, or a new version at least, 0.2. Where was my little post? There. Oh yeah, cannot find macro roundup. It was just macOS builds. That was the problem. Wide dependency seems to be from Avian via Bevy heavy, but it was wrong. I was wrong. It was Nalgebra, Simba and Nalgebra. Yeah. So we don't really care about Mac builds right now, but we will later. So move this back there, and then we'll go look at what happened with Nalgebra and wide. Hopefully a GitHub. There we go. See if anybody's done an update. Issues. Why macOS? Or wide? Or Simba? What was the actual error? Let's look at, well, first of all, let's look at let's look at the actions and see why they failed on macOS. Not these. I think it's the release workflow. Yeah, this one. There we go. So Mac fails, and we get what? We get roundup. Cannot find macro roundup in this scope. It's wide. Let's do a team check. See who's on this morning. Who's on this morning? Expired Popsicle. Excellent. And we got Canny's happening. Irish John is waking up this morning. Pimdora. Do I even follow Pimdora? I do not, but let's make that happen. And Outfrost. To Danger's streaming. Cool. Okay. All sorts of people doing creative shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so wide. 7:30. Let's see if so what is the immediate upstream of wide in this context? Let's do a cargo tree. Exclude bevy. Oh, I got that wrong. Just cargo tree. And then we find wide, or really we just find avian. There's Nalgebra, then Simba, and then wide. So I think really Simba is the culprit here. So let's find Simba Rust. Oh, it's the same person. Interesting. Okay. So do we have release 0.9. And what version of Simba do we have here? We have Simba 0.9, correct? Actually, Naljibra and Simba are both siblings here. So one doesn't depend on the other. But here, Simba depends on wide. So what version of wide is current? Don't tell me it's the same person. No, it's not. Okay, this version of wide is last month, 0.7.3, 0.730. And what was the change? Do we have a change log? We do not appear to have a change log. Do we have releases? We don't. Okay, so what about commits? Just run CAI against main. So I wonder if the issue's been reported. Aha, got it. Dependency of a dependency, a build error on Mac, yes. This commit is responsible and was a recent addition to version 730. Adjusted in a version that got released today. Yanked the newest version 730. Might go further back. It's not critical. Moved or gated round up. Safe Arch changed. My build works now. Thanks for looking into this. Safe Arch 7.4 back in the create root. Okay. So let's try rerunning that build and just see if it works without change. I'm wondering if it'll cache, but let's give it a go. If so, we'll just let them know in Avian. It's going to do all of them, but that's okay. These funny little crates depending on crates issues. You gotta love it. Who's on for green today? Is Clonk streaming? Yuki. Excellent. Okay, let's dip into this one. See if we die. Pet graph, blah, blah, blah. Bevy tasks. Various bevies. So many bevies. Because I've never seen this workflow succeed yet, so it'd be nice to get it running again. So far, so good. So far, so far. So far away from me. You're so far away from me. So far, I just can't see. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. It uses nom. Oh, very, very gradually working. Can't remember how far it got through. Definitely could choose to drink tea during these moments. We should always drink tea during compile cycles. I feel like with Rust, I've returned to the era where compiles used to take this long, you know, like the literal compiling cartoon from XKCD. Swash. What a great name for a crate. I aspire to have a crate that I can name something cool. Okay, we're still going. We're still going. Cosmic text. Can't remember how many minutes it got through before it failed last time. Hmm. Now I've got so far away from me running in my head. Just a little bit of dire straits to make everybody's day a little brighter. GLTF, we got to learn shaders. Just the basics. I want shader basics. Shader basics. Just the basics. Average view duration on YouTube, 7 seconds. Excellent. Someone swiped through me. Hooray. Bevy animation, Bevy scene. Come on, macOS, you can do it. It's a really nice thing about open source projects on GitHub, free Mac builds. They're so expensive to commercial projects. Giant nightmare. Absolute giant nightmare. All of this work that represented by all these people to build this edifice of open source. Been watching Thor play Ashes of Creation. I'm like, I really want to play that, but I just can't justify the $100 to join the alpha. Maybe I'll be able to. Oh, damn it. It's still failing. Okay. So, what do I need to do to move it past that version? Or is it moving past a version? Safe Arch 0.74. How would I. Should I change the lock file maybe? Yeah, maybe that's a solution. So if I go, wait, Safe Arch, wide, Safe Arch, there it is, 0.73. So if I was to do a Kaggle upgrade, maybe? Upgrade or update? Because I think the lock file will be the issue there. It seems to me. Ooh, it takes a while though. Got to check all those versions. Okay. So now if I do a Kaggle tree, what do I get? Same. So can I do cargo upgrade wide? Uh, um, why don't I just remove the log file? That will take a while, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll get a clean log file that we can work with. And with any luck, it'll pull the latest version of the dependency. We can move on. I wonder why it was just a Mac OS. Must do something funky with, because it's all about like large numbers. Let's do something funky with it. What is SIMD? Let's find that out. Let's ask the AI. Please explain SIMD. A parallel, wait. Parallel processing technique that allows a single CPU instruction to perform the same operation on multiple data points simultaneously. This is particularly useful for tasks involving processing large amounts of similar data like image processing, audio processing, or scientific computations. Imagine you need to add two arrays of numbers. Okay. Without SIMD, your CPU would add 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 3 and 7, and 4 and 8. Each addition would be a separate instruction. However, with SIMD, the CPU can perform all these additions in a single instruction, processing multiple data elements in parallel using wider registers. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Don't ask me to implement it, but now at least I know what it is. At least I know what it is. Okay, we built it. That is good. Now we do a cargo tree. And we find that White is using the new version of Safe Arch. Okay. Cool. So let's ask the AI again, just to summarize some Googling. Can cargo update a dependency of a dependency in the lock file? A transitive dependency, cargo update P. Right. So it probably would be something like cargo update P wide. Okay. All right. So now hopefully if we commit the change to the lock file, fix Mac OS builds, question mark, hopefully, hopefully, question mark. Get LFS, slows everything down. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm not sure it's worth it. I'm not sure it's worth it, but maybe it is. Okay, cool. Now, we will check the build. Not here, but well, kind of not there either because we need to push a release. So let's do that. What's our latest release? What's our latest tag? We've tried to do 1.5, I think. Let's do get tag v 0.1.6. Get push origin tag v 0.1.6. Ooh, it's slow. Okay. And then we get the actions and we see that we have a release build. And that can start. All right. And then we'll just let them know that we think we have the solution in Discord so that if anyone else searches on it, then we'll know. Then we'll know. Avian physics. Here we go. Actually, let's just check to make sure no one else searched on it. Oh, I don't know that you can search in ecosystem crates sub theory. Yeah. Just me. Just me. Just me. It's just me. Okay. Cool. So, just an FYI in case anyone else strikes this. The Mac OS only issue with Avian builds was down to the use of a feature gated macro in wide, a transitive dependency of Simba. They've fixed the issue, so probably doing the likes of cargo update p wide. Or generating a new cargo. We'll sort things out. Make sure we don't spam that. Cool. So we should have working macOS builds. We'll confirm that, but thanks for this. And for wide. Always nice to say thanks to folks. And we'll just make sure that it actually does work. Okay, we're up to GLTF. Shouldn't be too much longer. Oh, come on, GitHub, do it for me. Definitely need my cup of tea. The coffee's wearing off. It's wearing off. I haven't done any actual programming yet. Deeply disturbing. I wonder what Jan's working on today. I wonder what everyone's working on today. I just need to know what everyone's doing. Too nosy. Far too nosy. Bevy, win it. Bevy audio. Come on, you can do it. Keep going. Hey, there's Wide. Hooray! We got past it. I think. By the looks of things. Yes. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Let's just make sure we actually get a build. Avian 2 finished building. Bevy sparse tile map should also build. We made sure of that. Hmm. And now we're finally compiling the game. Such as it is. Hmm. Come on, CI. Can it really take that long? I suppose it is a release build. But it is a bit like watching paint dry. Should learn to do other things while I'm... Wow, there's a little spider web on my streaming setup. That's probably a bad sign. Probably a very bad sign. Is showing signs of disuse. Really? Are you still running? Yep. Yep. What's happening in general at the moment? General. Everybody looks like they're pretty happy. Resources to get more clue. What should I do with networking? Videos, articles, etc. It's like rendering. Just don't get desperate. And we'll say hello to all the people in intro because that's important. Just started to dabble in game development recently. Struggle quite a bit with game dev and other engines. Uh-oh. Okay. I was going to say, if you struggle with other engines, then I don't know if Bevy's necessarily the right fit. Video GIF as a texture. Huh. Cool. This looks nice. I don't know if about videos in Bevy. I think that's in the hard basket at the moment, but I could be wrong. Dynamically adding UI elements leads to duplicate orphaned nodes. When I click on a sector, this observer system fetches some resources like a hash map, another hash map. Additionally, for every star system in the click sector, I want to display a button. I would like to render the buttons as children. For this, I'm getting the node as an entity and then use commands entity to add children like this. Commands entity. Oh. After clicking the second time, the text gets rendered in the top left corner of my window. Knots of nodes containing the old text. How do you create buttons and UI elements dynamically? Are you despawning it? Yeah, that would be my question. Clear children doesn't despawn them. Yeah. There you go. Somebody solved that. Async scene collider name shapes. This does not sound like something I would know about. Running compute shaders inside a tracked render pass. Again, not something I would know about. 32-bit color palette in Bevy image. Replace RGBA 32 uint with RGBA 32 float. Huh. Cool. How to convert a function like this to use the newly required components feature. Font, handle font, text, build a spawn, text new, text font, text color black. That is the required component structure. To something like this where the new function does the same thing as the spawn function without spawning. Oh, I think I see what they're saying. Require text, text font, text color. Yeah, you just have to have defaults that do what you want. How are we doing? We're still building? We're still building. My goodness. Weird alignment issue. That's already resolved. Cyclical requires. Huh. Command and entity. Okay. Know what's going on there. Mouse input. Geometry from a compute shader. Yeah, beyond me. Characters moving faster. Yep. We know why that is. Failed to open JSON. You need to run the app. Ouch. How can you match height to width in a UI node? Looks like most of these are already answered. Can I make all of these red? This is from the 26th. Entity despawning. I don't have Nitro. Freaking Discord. Oh, something's happening. Hooray! Actual build. Save always has been deprecated. Right. Text won't go to the right place. Can you mark all? I don't want to mute it. Can you mark everything as red? It doesn't look like you can. It's annoying. You could go a long way back. Okay, well, anyway, we're done. So that's great. This can go back here. And what do we got? Oh, we're still building Windows, but that should be fine. We're not going to watch that build. Mac is building, web is building. We should be able to deploy to our itch site. Let's just find that out. That's the GitHub egg custard recipe. We want itch. We want all the way home itch. We want that to be our most common search. Oh, flashbang. Okay, we need to fix that. I don't like that language. You must purchase it. I don't care about that. Edit theme. Is there no way to just turn it dark? There probably isn't, right? Okay, let's make the text a light color. Let's make the background a dark color, not brown. Let's make the other background a darkish color, not that one or that one. Sure, why not? Ugly brown. Let's change the link color to something lighter. And that will stop everyone from getting blinded. Okay, cool. So now it won't have been published yet because it has to wait for the Windows job to finish, which is unfortunate. But that is okay. Where is it up to, by the way? We'll come back and check on it. We will find out. Oh, finished release native. Nice. Upload artifact, cargo cache. So hopefully we should be about to run this. Hopefully, if it ever stops caching. Step is quite slow for a cleanup job. That's weird. It is weird. Why? A separate actions cache restore step should be used instead. Maybe we should fix that. Hey, finally. Now we're on upload Twitch. So currently, this does load step, and basically nothing else. Why have I got notifications? Oh, builds. Okay. Loading game for the first time, so it must have updated, which means that this must have succeeded. And we're all green. Hooray! Okay. Now what happens? We get a loading step and a Bevy logo. Nice. A quick loading screen and then start page. And we click start and we get to the game and we hit escape and we get game paused. Return to game. Okay, so our behavior is we shouldn't really have exit game right now, but that's okay. Well, yeah, we shouldn't have exit from here. Okay, cool. So our behavior is identical to on the desktop. We're happy about that. Not sure about the size. We'll have to think about that. What is the game's native size at present? So if I run, what is the default size for a window? Because we're not specifying any, are we? So what is the default size for a game window? Unfortunately, Cargo Rust Analyzer decides to block us. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is a 2K screen currently, and I'm broadcasting in 1080p. Is that 1K? So this has got to be like a 720p window, right? Maybe less. What is the default size for a window? I wonder if we could find that out by looking at the Winit code. What's going on here? Proc macro creates missing its build data. Okay. Don't know what's going on there. Asset plugin, window plugin. Here we go. 25. Primary window is window. And we get size. I want size. Decorations, transparent, focused, window resize constraints. Internal window state. Window theme. Default for window. Position, mode. Resolution. I think that'll be it. Width in logical pixels. See window resolution for an explanation about logical physical sizes. Okay, so self-resolution width, self-resolution height, and so on. So what's the default? Size limits. Logical pixels. Well, let's ask a different question. How big do we want the game to be? Should we assume 1080p? I need to remind myself how to determine the size. So I wonder if it's on Delve. Let's try. Oh, we're going to have an ad break, which is good because I can get a cup of tea. Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Let's try Bevy Cheat Book. Or this. This will do. Hey, there we go. Window resolution new with scale factor override. Why would you scale factor override? What does that do? So if we run it now, oh, hang on. If we run it now, what do we get? A much smaller window? Yes, a much smaller window. Okay. It's ads. I'm going to make a cup of tea. Hey, BD10355. The current project is we're working on a new game to be released mid next year on my birthday, my 53rd birthday, called All the Way Home. And it's kind of inspired by Lemmings, the old 90s game Lemmings for the Amiga, but newer. My first attempt at releasing a game. So hopefully we get there. And we're just looking at window sizing at the moment. I'm trying to understand why with scale factor override would be a thing. But I found the default size, which is 720p. I actually ask in Discord, how you doing? I hope your holidays were good, no matter what you happen to celebrate. Let's see. So what we'll do is window scaling is scary. Yeah, I don't completely understand what's going on there because I know the pixels are logical pixels, and I know there's a difference between that and actual pixels. But can someone ELI5 why I would want to use with scale factor override 1 on my game window. When sizing it. What does this, what effect does this have? The docs mention only that it adds a scale factor override. Would it stop? I wonder, would it stop scaling sprites? No, that doesn't sound right. We'll see if anyone can come up with some answers to that. I think 1080p is where I want to be. I think that's my happy place. I don't think you'd necessarily want a 4K version of the pixel art that I'm planning on doing. You wouldn't want it larger. You'd want it normal size. Considering the original was probably a 720p game at best. In fact, it was probably a 360p game, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Amiga 500 resolution. PAL mode, which is what I was used to. 640 by 512. 512p. Or 400 if you're in the States. Interesting. If you look at the original Lemmings, they were really not especially detailed models. The Spriter's resource. Oh, flashbang. Don't steal, please. I just want to see it. Download sheet. Here we go. Okay, yeah, they were pretty basic. It didn't have a lot of detail. But they were still quite evocative. seems to me. You could still tell what was going on. The basic walk animation was just 1 foot up, 1 foot down, 1 foot back. Because they were all so tiny to fit so many of them onto the screen. Very cool. Little green heads. Okay. Get rid of Discord for now. And we'll just proceed on the assumption that we're going to use 1080p, and we'll use the scale override until someone tells us different. Which gives us this size all the way home. So now, you wouldn't necessarily want that in your game window when you're playing on the web, especially not if you're already on a 1080p screen, but you would want the full screen option. So I think here we're going to edit game, and we're going to say we've got Mac, we've got web, we've got Windows, and we're going to say 720p. What is it, 1280? I've forgotten. What is the default? I've forgotten already. You go away. This one. Yeah, 1280. Frame options. Enable full screen. Yes. Viewport dimensions 1280, 720. But I think I also need to specify in either the JavaScript or the, like if I save now and revisit it, it does this. And this is on a 2K screen. And if I run, I get this and that. But then if I, and it still thinks it's on a 720p screen. Okay. We also might need to think about the key for exiting full screen, because if I use escape in the game, that's supposed to be the pause menu. But of course, on the web, you'd want to provide an alternate, because in full screen, that's the, yeah. So return to game, full screen, escape, escape to pause. It's kind of clumsy. Okay. So let's look for a resolution anywhere else in the code base, because I suspect it'll be in the HTML somewhere. Size. No, maybe in the CSS. Oh, attribute filter height. Huh. Style CSS. Any solid sizing? Nope, just body width and height. Okay, maybe it's all right then. Cool. All right. So we'll go with 1080p and just provide a, we'll set to 720p on web until we figure out how that all works. I'm just going to turn my mic off for a sec while I eat the rest of my apple. All right, that's that taken care of. Now, actually, we should get this DevTools business happening. I remember there being an issue the other day with not having all the features enabled, but that was in a different project, not this one. So let's grab the DevTools content from Bevy New 2D. We've still got the Bevy 15 thing happening because that hasn't been merged yet. I think over the issues with spawning, child build, etc. Have we changed the dev tools? We don't appear to have. All right, cool. So let's grab source dev tools. And screen state transitions, sure, why not? Debug overlay. Yup. Now, is this enabled in lib? DevTools, yes it is. Down on 18 here, cool. So what about things like this debug UI plugin, but we should probably also add EGUI thingy interface into whatever it is. What is it? Cargo add bevy EGUI thing. Inspector, thank you. All right, looks like we're happy with that. Cool. And first of all, let's just see if this builds at all. Looks like we're set up to build on backquote. It'd be quite good if we could make the inspector appear and disappear with backquote too. Still haven't got Avian running, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Doo-doo. Now we're recompiling lots of stuff. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a cutting. Wait. BD 103. BD 103. Hey, are you the same BD 103? If so, hi. You're doing good work. Account created 15 December 2024. Okay, it's Christmas account. Okay, so that runs. Does it show? Hey, now we're talking. That's what we want. Little widgets everywhere. Hey, Hypnotic, how you doing? Hope you had a good break slash are enjoying a good break slash. Okay, cool. So that works. We're happy about that. Could we potentially add EGUI inspector? Could we potentially add it? Could we add it? At least the easy part of it. Quick plugins. World Inspector plugin. Right. And hopefully show and hide. Manual UI. Oh, interesting. I didn't know. I did not know. Okay, World Inspector plugin new. How do you keep track of game dev things without an editor for the engine? Uh that's a pretty good question. I guess my failing adult brain would be the answer there. Um, yeah, it's not a very good answer, but it's the best one I've got. Yeah, that's pretty much it. World Inspector plugin new. And we run. And there it is, the World Inspector plugin. All right, so now we do useful things like, can we show and hide it? Because that'd be cool if we could use the same key to essentially enter debug mode. Show and hide, show and hide. How do I change the names? What if I want to display a single value? Show hide? Question mark? Aha. All right. If you toggle your window, you already have some system for doing that. Toggle on a G key press. This is back in 23. Who was that? Mr. Chanti. You can now do this. Oh, Jacob. Run F, toggle, input toggle active. Yes, this is what we want. Assuming that it also toggles back on again afterwards. But instead of that, we want key code backquote. What is your problem? Hang on, this is not right. Well, this was 2023 as well. That might be a bit dated. Oh, default. That doesn't seem right. Yeah. This is not quite what we want. Input just pressed. Maybe we should put this in here somewhere? Question mark. Maybe there's a newer version of this issue. because these are ancient versions of Bevy that we're talking about here. Um, Out of curiosity, what does the AI think is the most up to date solution? Toggle, Bevy, and then inspector, EGUI on and off using a key. I'd be fascinated to see if it comes up with the same solution. Yeah, pretty much. Oh no, run if in state. Yeah, I don't really want that. Inspector state set. What? No. But see, that would only be for the add plugins call, right? Not. Yeah, I don't think you're right about that, Claude. Add plugins is only going to run when the plugin first runs, isn't it? Seems to me that that is what's going to happen. Does new return a system? No. Let's see, try a more general search. Bivy inspector EGUI toggle. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Apple is repeating on me. Bevy 15, ability to reflect sets. What about show hide? Discussions, maybe? No. What about the Discord? Let's see. It would be in the crate. Let's try a more general search. Bevy remote inspector, which is also very, very cool. I just like it not to be there all the time. I wonder if a GitHub search might be useful here. What about a general GitHub search for implementations that other people have done? Not seeing a whole lot of useful stuff. Okay. Let's skip away from there and look. So we've got World Inspector plugin new, run if, only show the UI if of the specified condition is active. Okay, that could be useful. Run if. But then does it watch that condition? I see. Uh, should I try to? Just spitballing here. Maybe it watches its condition. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things. No, I'm not. So it would only start. Yeah, it's in the wrong. Yeah, it's no point in putting a call like that into add plugins. You'd want to put it into a update system. There needs to be like a show hide. Well, instead of doing this, should I just, would you despawn it though? Like, would you, because you could do something like, instead of add plugins, you could do add systems. But it would break because World Inspector plugin doesn't return. Yeah, it's not a system. And how would you tear it down if, can you just have, is there no way to just show it based on a value? Build? Because you don't want to turn it on and off. You just want to show and hide it. I mean, you don't want to like create it over and over again. It sounds hideous. I just want an is visible, essentially. EGUI window, new world inspector, default size show. Show. This is so not what I was going to do in the stream. Because the solution they suggest would only work. What was that? What was that system they used? That qualifier they used? Controlling inspector windows. Oh, it's got examples. Should look at those. Maybe it's updated it. Input toggle active, which but didn't we decide that it didn't work anymore? Oh, it has to be imported. I did not know. Okay. I'm a dumbass. Right, let's see if this also can do double duty. I'm a dumbass. Hey, perfect. Except it's off. It's off kilter. How do we get them both to happen at the start? um, input toggle active. What about just pressed? Or maybe true is the first argument is what to do the first time. Yeah, false. Hooray. Okay, now we're talking. All right. Debug tools. We got debug tools. Dev tools initial. Oh, that wasn't hard at all. Now then. Let's see here. By the way, these should be in the get ignore, I think, auto backups. But should this be what's in here? Bitwig project is a 0 size file. BW project is not a 0 size file. All right, so let's look at get ignore and we'll add bitwig sundries bitwig project and oh, this is under OST all the way home. And auto backups. Ignore bitwig sundries. Wow, get LFS is really slow. Oh well. Hopefully it'll make things easier later. Maybe, possibly. Okay. Now, did anybody answer my Discord question, by the way? Oh, here we go. Ah, interesting. So ELI5, why I would want to use with scale factor override on my game window when sizing it. High DPI monitors like Retina displays. Specifically, Bevy's fonts are rendered to monitors' DPI specs, so font sizes will be different on different monitors unless you override scale factor. Wax is a bit like the. I was going to say red-headed stepchild, but that might be offensive to some. um, tends to lag a bit behind in that regard. So I often forget. Okay. Now then, finally, do we get to Avian? In order for Avian to work, we're going to need some basic things. We're going to need either a sprite or some kind of shape on the screen. I think to start with, I just want to apply gravity to a shape and have it fall to a flat surface. That seems like a good starting point. Since falling is going to be a pretty key part of this whole enterprise, we should get it right. We should get it right. We should get it right. Okay. So let's look at a very brief example of something in Avian. And examples. Oh, there's so many examples. Let's run some of them, then we'll be able to see what we're dealing with. Oh, I don't have it already. John Dolph, of course, the estimable John Dolph, the wonderful John Dolph. Relatively big crate. Cargo run example. Let's push this out a little. Okay, we got CCD. I don't know what CCD is. Collision layers. Oh, let's just run some. Let's play. Let's play cargo run example CCD. Do a bit of building. We'll do a bit of building. So much building. Spin up my CPU. Spin up fans. You can do it, I believe. You can do it. Come on, CPU. I wonder why. Average view duration over on YouTube, 37 minutes. My goodness. Actually didn't swipe through. Wait, was that 37 seconds? That's 37 seconds. I was going to say. That's much more likely. That's 37 seconds. Oh, here we go. Okay. Speculative collision on, swept CCD, nonlinear. I don't know what any of these things mean, but it's pretty cool. Huh. Interesting. Oh, you can turn it off. Whoa. Oh, now it's slowing down. Oh no. Okay. Cool. I don't know what any of it means, but it's interesting. Chain 2D, custom collider, determinism. What about simple? Is this simple? I like simple. One-way platform 2D. Oh yeah. Um, that is a classic. A classic challenge. Okay. This looks like something I could steal code from. I guess we have to use arrow keys. Some of the arrow keys work. What about jump? Hey, there we go. Let me out. Let me out. Okay. And we can go to the bottom and we can jump up and we can jump up, but we can't jump down. Oh, we can if we do down arrow jump. That's cool. Okay, yeah, we can definitely use some code from here. So we're going to take this and we're going to steal some code just to get things rolling. Eventually, I'm going to want tile maps, but not yet. And I still haven't solved the whole should we make tile maps destructible question. All right, so let's see what that actually involves. Let's go to, we're going to want, what is it called? One-way platform. Are there any other platforms? Interpolation, fixed joint, dynamic character. I'm just curious. What is dynamic character? Oh, I think I've seen this one. Hmm. Oh no. No, I can't jump up that high. Damn. I was trying to use it to jump this obstacle. Ah, it's hard. But then I suck at platformers. No. Okay, so you can't jump. Hey, there we go. Oh, god damn it. All right. I suck at platformers. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think the one we actually want is going to be, it'd be great to get to the point where we could have a sprite or a shape that moves along falls with gravity, because that's going to be key, and then moves along a platform and then drops onto another platform. I mean, that's the core of the game right there. That's work done. We can go home after that. We'll be finished. We'll be all finished. Okay, so back to all the way home, and we would like, we would like, we would like. By the way, what's the we still at 1.85 nightly? Are we still? Oh, no, we're not. Well, we're getting the next nightly anyway. From the 26th to the 12th, somebody released a nightly on Boxing Day. Using a bit of crane lift here. Nice. All right. Now, how do we want to structure all this? To begin with, I'm not sure. Like we'll have a spawner level. That makes sense. So the level spawning code from Bevy 2D is contentious. Some people like it, some people not so wild about it. That whole spawn object apply thing using world. I think for now we'll just steer clear of that and we'll go to, well, we're just learning the basics of Avian. So what do we have? Screens. We have main, we have lib, dev tools, assets, and so on. Whereas in a Bevy new 2D game, we would have screens. And then within demo, which would be your game, you have level. And within level, you use world spawning. Apply world. Has anyone talked about this in any of the issues? No. um, because I know that some people are not fans of this. But I think there's a certain amount of things that are going to have to be done repeatedly for each new level. And I think this does, at some point, we're doing run system once. I just can't remember where. In terms of tasks, we spawn a mesh, we spawn the terrain, and then we basically run the level. We do that repeatedly and probably in response to something like a RON file for defining the level. So yeah, I'm just not sure what direction to move in. There's this example, but we look at the way that that gets called in demos mod. It just adds the level plugin. We get ads in a sec. Okay, so I mean this is okay, but what's the alternative? Is just to run it in non-world systems using things like run system once, cached. Do that rather than, and then you could use observers too. Hmm. And should you have a separate state for each level or no? Because then you could state scope all the resources, components rather. But then you would have to hard code the fact that there was a new level in your code as opposed to just loading it from a file. States, as I understand it, can't be dynamic. But you can state scope play level, for example. So we could have potentially, in addition to the screen states where we have loading, playing, splash, and title, you're probably going to spend most of your time in the playing state, the game over state, depending on how bad you are. The game state has playing and paused. Thing is, there might be loading states for each new level. Ads. If there are loading states for each new level, let's write this out. Level loading. Each new level must be loaded unless all are loaded at the start of the game. We therefore require a level loading state or substate within game? Question mark. We could an end level or success state following level completion is this also the loading state? Or in fact, are we providing hints like just dig at the start of each level? So that gives us, that would give us game states of loading, playing, intro. Playing, paused, complete. So these are like level states almost. Paused should really be a substate of playing though. Well, it doesn't need to be. Maybe it doesn't need to be. I think all of these are, this is like an in-game state. In which case, in-game playing makes a bit more sense. It's no longer playing or game playing. This can be loading or intro. Playing, paused, and complete. So this is like takes care of loading resources for the level to come and providing hints to the player. Um, uh, no, in which case, this should be a default state. And then active gameplay. Player has hit the pause key. Pause menu shows. Player has successfully completed the level. And then if the level was failed, I guess if the level was failed, we also need a state representing that because they might not want to finish the game. They might want to retry the level, right? So failed or over. Player has failed the level. Menu shows with offer to retry or quit. So would that be over? Failed or failed is more, it's not nice, but it's more accurate. Okay, I think that takes care of most of our needs. I wonder, does Bevy Asset Loader provide some mechanisms for us doing this kind of thing? Like level loading mechanisms? There's a difference between loading just the basic game assets and loading every individual level, I think, maybe. Let's find that out. In most cases you will want to load your asset collections during loading states. During a configurable bevy state, the cheapbooklet states, if your loading state is set up, you can start your game logic from the configured next state and use the asset collections as resources in your systems. What about unloading too? We can do so using configure loading state at any point in our application. We could, for example, add a player plugin. The player plugin will contain all things player, including its sprite. Loading state config new. Right. So you could run this, but it has to be done on app. How would you decide which, how would you re-enter this state for each new level? Ah, yeah, runtime dynamic assets, yes. Managing asset configurations as assets. You can keep a list of your asset files and their properties in asset files. Clean a split of code and data. More approachable to people that want to contribute. Yeah. Derive macro attribute key and are not allowed to have a path or paths attribute. I see. The keys player and tree. This is totally turning into not a physics stream. That's okay. We need to learn this. Should be either set manually in the dynamic assets resource or be a part of a dynamic assets file. Yeah. Standard dynamic assets feature. Okay. The file ending is .assets.ron. The example full dynamic collection shows all supported field types for dynamic assets. Requires the asset server resource to be available. Add the default plugins before configuring your loading state. Sure. All right, let's look at this. Okay. It doesn't really showcase. What I want to know is how to do it level by level. And the fact is that there might not be much in the way of level loading apart from the tile map themselves. Like, I mean, all of the assets are probably going to be much the same. except for the tile map. I mean, the tile map will be the same, but the layout, the tiles will be different. For all I know, maybe the tile map will be different too. Why is the CI failing, by the way? Unused? Yeah, we fixed that. Is Clippy complaining about the same thing? Yeah. Okay. But then it succeeded, right? Yeah. Nice. Okay. So how do I come up with a structure that will allow me to load each level in turn, even if we don't have assets for it right now? It's like we need to track which level we're up to, presumably as either a component or a resource. Some sort of meta resource, like current score, in what level what's the current level. And then when that changes, you would want to load the level corresponding to that number and check to make sure there was one. And I guess you need access to app in order to add loading state. So when you look at fully dynamic example, full dynamic collection, add loading state is called on app new. With dynamic assets file, full dynamic collection assets run. But how could you do that on demand with each level? Add loading state needs app. Can I get app in a system? Question mark? See if anybody's talked about this in issues. Ooh, some of these are pretty old. Calling add loading state panics. Wasm issue. Setting the LDTK asset in a loop over all level events. Have you debugged that you get such an event? Show me your code, even from 2023. Ah. Interestingly, because we now have a 2D project, we could use LDTK, but I don't think I will. I find the editor quite confusing, but we'll see. Maybe I will. Well, level event and level events read. Dynamic assets register asset. Hmm. I feel like this will be a really good example. Maybe I'll write it and see if they would accept it. So figure it out. Load collection gets stuck on one state. Get assets for my levels. Load a custom RON file. Level collection. App add plugins, add collection to loading state. Hmm. So they still seem to be loading everything at once, right? Which is not quite what I'm after. I mean, chances are it'd be fine to load the whole thing into memory. But I don't know. 2022 might not be terribly useful. Maybe I can find it somewhere in the docs. Hmm. I mean, I think it would work if you could call configure loading state in a system rather than in build. And maybe you can. Maybe I'm just missing how that happens. Collections. Not supported in web builds, which we kind of need. progress tracking. Failure state, use without a loading state. Unloading. Remove any asset collection resource that holds handles pointing to those resources, assets. Hmm. Because you want to load at the beginning of each level and unload at the end of each level. Except for the things that are required for all levels, like, I guess, sprite handles and so on. For the yups themselves. Hmm. I feel like this is an obvious example. I just don't see it anywhere in the current examples. Full dynamic collection comes close, but it still loads everything in one gulp as far as I can see. Maybe I've misunderstood that. Adds the loading state here, and my state's asset loading. Continue to state my state's next. Dynamic assets file. Load collection. When does expectations run? On update. Wonder if just general searches. I may end up asking the AI if it can summarize some of this, but I'm not confident about the result. Maybe scenes is a better description. Actually, I wonder if Chris's video, maybe we'll skim that in a sec. How old is that? 2 years ago. You know what? Let's see if it'll summarize some results for us. Bevy asset loader can load assets using states which progress to from a loading state to a using state after assets become available. Describe how this could be done at runtime using dynamic collections for each individual game level. It'll probably just regurgitate the example that's already there. So it's doing add loading state, level loading state loading, continue to state, etc. On enter, set up level loading. Match current level. Asset paths, which makes me suspicious because I don't think you're supposed to use paths. Yeah, see this right here is got to be wrong because it's manually doing things that Bevy Asset Loader is supposed to be doing. I think it's just skipping it entirely. This is not filling me with confidence. What does the load new level system actually do? Change the state. Now, that has provided a clue though. Because when you enter that state again, it should check the level because we'll do that. So how, right. So let's, yes, thank you for the clue. Not a good example, but thank you for the clue. Let's go back to the fully dynamic example. Or even just dynamic asset, maybe. Dynamic assets defined in a RON file. Therefore, you could manipulate. Oh, no, see, this is happening at add loading state. With dynamic assets file, dynamic assets RON. So you would still have to have one large file per thing. Image tree. So they've all got keys. Where does the dynamic bit come in where you can manipulate these values? I need to my states next, spawn player and tree. And they're defined in dynamic assets RON. But how do we change the assets that are spawned? For example, the map. And then just refresh it after the end of the level. How do we have a value that manipulates which of these get loaded? arrays of dynamic asset RON file. The keys are defined in assets, dynamic assets. Let's have a quick look at what that might contain. We'll just keep exploring until we figure it out. Now let's layout. Let's layout. Okay. So lots of different layouts. So when you spawn, you could, but the images are all still loaded, right? They're all still available as handles. That's not the effect we're looking for. The effect we're looking for is only load the ones that I ask for at level time, at new level time. Maybe the best we're going to be able to do is just load the handles for all of the tile maps and things, but just display them in a different layout. Asset maps. Yippee. Load an image asset from a path resolved at runtime. But again, it's all still happening on app new. Choose character system, I see. Except it's called character setup, right? Yeah. Based on some player input. Standard dynamic asset file path. I wonder if this could be useful. So you could create strings based on predictable paths like 1 or 2, etc. Because I don't want to have individual states for each. I just want to have the ability to read files. Hmm. Most of the time, you'll want to load them from a file instead. So character setup runs if you're in the menu state, but I could see it running also if you were in the intro state. Manually register the asset. So dynamic assets, register asset character. So you could do register asset level. Hmm. And then each time you do that, you would then move into a new new level. So what would that look like? You would do it as you were leaving, essentially as you were leaving the previous state. So as you were leaving complete, or as you enter complete for that matter, um, start loading the next level or change the asset that will be loaded when you load the next level. That kind of makes sense. So then you could have a series of files in, say, levels and edit assets levels one. What do we call them? Is it asset one dynamic asset or something like that? Oh, I see. Even just one dot ron, right? So they're setting the key to needs to be registered in the resource Bevy asset loader dynamic assets. Hmm. So then you can register the loading state, but you can still manipulate this at runtime. Hmm. You're probably not going to be loading individual image assets that are different, but you are going to be loading a layout. I'm not even sure what format that's going to take. But that kind of makes the most sense to me. Then you can have individual level files. So it'll be something like, let's just say one run. Just out of curiosity, how many RON files have I got that, not RON, where did I use it? I used it in one of the games when I was trying to come up with a level format. I can't remember what it was. One of the Game Jam games. I had a little example going. Can't for the life of me remember what it was. It's probably under levels are on. There we go. KiwiBird uses it. Of course it does. And we just added individual files to that. Individual blocks to that. Oh, that's good. That means I've got some prior art. Interesting. And in KiwiBird, in asset tracking, I did grayed out. I think I just did it without Bevy Asset Loader in the end. So KiwiBird low level. What on earth? So next level. Okay. Level assets get levels handle 0. Right. So it loads all of them into an asset. Res assets levels. Run asset plugin levels. Apparently I'd graded out at some point. I don't know why. I'm having a hard time getting it to work. And Run asset plugin is from Bevy Common Assets. Which I assumed I was going to need. Okay. Well, that's okay. We're learning. We are learning. I don't think I need this though. Question is whether levels is, that's not the way we want to go. We want individual files for each level. So all of this started from me trying to figure out a way to launch a level each time, but we're not there yet. I think I need to stop getting sidetracked. It's very interesting though. What I actually need to do is just create some things um, based on the example from Avian. So let's get back to that. Where am I? Okay, so all the way home. And in lib, we figure out what we launch when. We've got assets plugins and screens plugin. In Bevy new TD's way of doing things, we get a game plugin, or in fact a demo plugin, but that's a game plugin, which has animation, level, mod, movement, and player. So we are going to add, I guess, game. And then we're going to edit, hang on. We're going to do that. And then we're going to edit source game RS. And this is going to be use Bevy prelude star FN pub FN plugin app and mute app. And we'll add this to lib somewhere here. And I think we'll go with doesn't make a lot of sense for all of the state management to be in screens. That's weird to me. We've got this in-game state. Feels like that belongs in the game plugin, right? Think that's right. And then we go app. Oh, hang on. We need to add that. Yeah. So we need to add the initialize that. Why is that not erroring out? Or should we just call it game? I feel like we should just call it game. Enable states, yes. Cool. Systems or plugins at this point? More just leverage intro, although this obviously won't be the way it works eventually. Okay, now. Do we still build? We do not. All right, we got to replace all of this stuff. I don't know why Rust Analyzer wasn't complaining about that. Why is my phone pinging at me? That is the question. Oh, my dogs are playing on the beach. That's why my phone is pinging at me. So I think it is. Right. Okay. Now, all of these should be errors, but for some reason Rust Analyzer is not playing ball. What? No. Thank you. Maybe in game is, oh God, I don't know. I'm so indecisive. Naming is hard, folks. Naming is hard. Well, in which case playing shouldn't be the name of the plugin. So this should be in game. Actually, game. Oh, this is so hard. Because there is also a game plugin. Game, in game. Don't know why Rust Analyzer is breaking at this point. Might need a cargo clean at some point. Oh, it could be time for another cup of tea. That's exciting. It is time for another cup of tea.